All right. Hello, everybody. I am so sorry. I was trying to get myself together here and ended up bumping myself off. I'm in this yard and my internet service isn't as good when I'm in the yard around other trucks. So I'm trying to get out of here so that I can get a better signal. But good morning to everybody who has come into the chat. I see Chaz B98 is already in here, Perfectabliss, and there's some people watching in the clouds. So let me get started. I'm live. Today is Saturday, which is my Friday, September 5th, and it is 3 a.m. in Phoenix. And I wanted to go ahead and jump into this topic because yesterday I was on the panel with LAR, and LAR actually did a topic piggybacking off of my topic that I did yesterday when I was talking about Black women who are happy being single. And so he threw the link out there and gave me the invitation to go up on the panel. And while I was up there on the panel, some kind of way the conversation shifted over to Lizzo and women. And I mentioned something about, when are we in the Black community going to address our dysfunction with weight in our community? And I believe Bomb Cherry was on there with me, and she and I had a really bad exchange. And I take full responsibility for that because I should have had a much more mature response to her. And I really need to work on myself when dealing with certain women and their personality types, because weight is a very sensitive issue in the Black community. And so I forget that when speaking with certain Black women, I have to be a little bit sensitive when approaching the issue. But nevertheless, the men, George Macon and LAR, and I believe BMT was also on the panel, they handled it nicely. Going forward, I had to put myself on mute because once again we were in a shouting match, and it was very childish. And like I said, I take full responsibility for that. I did email LAR later on, and I apologized to him for my outburst on his panel because, like I said, I don't like partaking in childish behavior, especially when we're adults and we're supposed to be having a discussion. So I decided to take it to my channel. Bomb Cherry brought up something very interesting while we were on that panel. And I wanted to talk about it. I didn't talk about it then because, like I said, I didn't want it to be an argument between her and I. But I was talking about the issue of obesity in the Black community. And she was bringing up the fact that, I was bringing up the fact that there are certain health issues and diseases associated with being overweight. And my point was, we have a high prevalence of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke. And most of the time, it is associated with being overweight. Now, what she did was she went and found an article from back in 2014. And the article states that people who are underweight, and also being underweight is not healthy either, okay? Being overweight is not healthy, and being underweight is not healthy. But the study indicated that most underweight people are at greater risk of having heart disease in particular. The article spoke mostly of underweight people and their risk of heart disease. Okay, so she is correct. When she, pulled up that study, the study does state this. However, she was being very, and I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the word very, disingenuous as to how the underweight issue affects the Black community. Because in reading the article, and I had to wait until I got home to read it because I'm on the road, I can't really be driving and pulling up articles and reading stuff while I'm on the road. Perfecta Bliss says people need to quit assuming that because you aren't an advocate for being big, then you're suggesting that people be underweight. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It's a thing that's going on in the black community, mostly amongst black women, and she needed to pull that article up to, I guess, I don't know if she was trying to feel better about herself or defend overweight people, because the first thing that she said to me was that she is overweight and she doesn't have any of those health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attack, stroke. She's stating that she's one of those overweight women that does not suffer from any of those, and that could very well be the case. I'm not disputing that at all. But like I said, the men handled it nicely because George Macon was the one that pointed out to her that, these are conditions that don't happen overnight. It does take time for people to develop these conditions. So you could very well, go throughout majority of your adult life being overweight and not developing these conditions, but over time, as you age, you may very well end up in one of those categories. And that's usually where we are as Black people. But like I said, when she brought up the study about underweight people and heart disease, yes, when you're underweight, you're more susceptible to have heart issues because just as a more obese person's heart has to work harder to pump blood through a larger body, when you're an underweight person, your heart is pumping, but your body is not big enough to deal with the pressure of your heart pumping blood through your body, and so you can also have heart failure that way as well, and you're more likely to have heart failure that way. However, like I said, she's being very disingenuous in bringing up that particular study because here in the United States, only 5% of Americans are underweight. Okay. So this is a study that does not even affect a large segment of the population. And like I said, I did go online yesterday and I researched what she was saying. So I referenced the article that she brought up. And then even more so in the Black community, we don't have an issue with underweight illnesses because 80% of Black women are overweight and 70% of Black men are overweight. Now, when you look at Black women, there's only 16% of us that fall into a healthy and fit weight category. So that means less than 5% of us will fall into underweight category. So we have a larger portion of our people that would be suffering from a lot of these illnesses that fall into the overweight category. And that's the reason why I said she was being very disingenuous in bringing up that particular study. When these scientists put out these studies, they're studying every variation of our health. And that's one variation of it as it pertains to people who are underweight. But once again, we don't have very many underweight Americans. Now, I'm not advocating for either, but because the overweight issue is the looming issue in the Black community for both men and women, and in particular for Black women, I'm not really focusing on the 5%, the less than 5% of Black women who are underweight. It would be more understandable that I'm addressing the 80%, not the 4.5%, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, like I said, the men on the panel. And if you guys have not gotten a chance to watch LAR's live stream that he did yesterday, you guys can go ahead and check that out, because towards the end of the video, they gave a lot of useful information as far as diet, exercise, and health that a lot of Black people, should adhere to. And especially with George Macon being on the panel, because he's been into health and fitness for a long time, so he knows a lot about what he's speaking of when he speaks on the issue. And he did it in such a way, because like I said, when I brought up the weight issue and how it affects the Black community, Bomb Cherry was ready to argue with me. But when the men started talking, she was very quiet and complacent. What's up, Miss Gigi? I believe Miss Gigi was up there as well. I think it was Miss Gigi that also brought up that she had some health issues, being a person that falls into the underweight category. So Miss Gigi would be an example of the less than 5% of Black women who fall into the underweight category that have underlying issues. But here's the thing, and I'm going to highlight this because Black women, we like to come up and we like to make a lot of excuses as to why we're in the condition that we're in. Okay? And I'm not a person that likes to give myself excuses. Now, as you all know, if anybody's been watching my channel for any stretch of time, I've been talking about how I have to go on these 30-minute walks and 30-minute runs every day. I have to have 30 minutes of continuous cardio activity. And that is because I need to keep my heart strong. I need to keep my blood pumping because of the job that I do. I'm sitting down all day. And so it's not good for my body. But not only do I have to, look out for my physical activity, but also I have to look out for what I'm eating, because just me getting up and moving around isn't going to do me any good if I'm not also eating a clean, healthy diet on a regular basis. So there was a lot of things that I had to change around. When I first started my weight loss journey, I was over 207 pounds, and I am still overweight, by the way. It's just that I no longer fall into the obese category. So I went from being obese to just being overweight. And I'm still trying to shed the pounds. And as I've been shedding the pounds, I'm noticing that I do have more energy. I'm noticing that my balance is a lot better. I'm moving around a hell of a lot better than I was. I'm not as out of breath. There are a lot of things that have improved. So it's not just a physical thing that I'm looking at here. Like I said, losing weight and and looking better, that your body changing and looking better, that's just one of the side effect benefits of losing weight. But the overall benefit that I'm going for is longevity. And that's all I really bang on and talk about here. So, as Bomb Cherry, I had to mute my mic yesterday because I was becoming emotional and acting like a child. But she came back and pointedly said that I'm regurgitating information I heard, which, like I said, if I had kept going back and forth with her, it would have not have been fruitful. This is not stuff that I've heard. If anybody has ever been on my channel, you know that I work with my doctor. I work with a nutritionist. I work with a personal trainer. So this is not stuff that Faith has heard. This is stuff that Faith has Faith is currently going through. I have to have my blood drawn and different things, so I know what my BMI is. I know what my fat levels are. I know what my sugar levels are. Screen Learning says we should strive for fitness. I'm in the gym now and listening. That's what I'm talking about, Stream Learning, and I'm not banging or coming down on people about their looks. This is more of me speaking about the health of our people and Black women in particular. And being overweight is not healthy. Okay, I don't care if you're not exhibiting any of the symptoms of any of these diseases right now. Usually when we're younger, we don't. I know everybody saw that movie Soul Food. Big Mama was old before she had to have her legs chopped off. Okay, I'm not trying to age like Big Mama. I'm trying to age like Jada Pickett's mom. Jada Pickett's mom is up into her 60s and she looks great and she's getting around well. She looks like she's going to be in here for the long haul. That's how I want to age. I don't want to age like Big Mama. Pretty Black Magic says they say Black women have high rates of heart disease. Don't no one want to talk about that. Exactly. And see, we as Black women, we get really defensive when anyone brings up the weight issue. And we start making these excuses. We start making lots of excuses as to why we can't, as opposed to why we can become healthy. I think Miss K Queen was also on the live stream, and she brought up a good point as well on LER's live stream about the fact that there are some medications that cause us to become overweight. Okay, and she's right. There are, especially people that have mental illnesses. I have a sister. She suffers from bipolar disorder, and so she has to take medication to how can I say, to control it. The medication that she takes does cause her to gain weight, and so her doctor talked to her and spoke to her about the importance of her having a good diet along with taking the medication and exercising. So, there's no excuse at all about these medications making us fat, because these doctors will tell you to modify your diet and try to exercise when taking these medications. So even, the whole medication making me fat excuse that we like to throw out is an excuse. I'm here to tell you, my sister, she's on a few medications that does cause weight gain, but she's able to control her weight with diet. Now, I'm not gonna lie, she does state that some of the medications put her in a mind frame where she, doesn't feel like exercising and so on and so forth. And like I said, Queen Wolf Clan pointed that out yesterday. But 80% of weight loss is diet. Exercise is just strengthening and conditioning your body. But your diet, that goes a long way towards longevity. So even if you can't exercise as much as you want, you got to eat to live. So making better choices in the food that you put in your body could be the difference between life and death. And it could also combat the weight gain that is induced by medication, because the medication is operating off of the food that you're putting in your body as well. So we got to stop making all these excuses and arguing with medical science and arguing with people that are telling you for your better good that, as a community, we've got to get more fit. Let's see what we're talking about here. Oh, Pretty Black says she gained weight from the COVID mess, scared to go outside. Yeah, I had to purchase equipment to utilize inside my house. So, there's certain affordable equipment that you can purchase, and I did a video on some of the equipment that I purchased that's affordable because I don't have a whole stack of money where I can purchase expensive workout machines, but there are certain exercises that you can do without equipment, such as I was on who was that, I want to say Bayou Bunny. Was it Bayou Bunny? No, Uppity Unicorn. And Uppity Unicorn does a lot of workout videos where she's walking, but she's walking in place. She does a lot of step videos. And so that inspired me to start doing a lot of step videos inside the house. So a lot of times when I get off work, like yesterday, I got off work pretty late and I did LAR's live stream. And so after doing LAR's live stream, I showered, stripped down into my workout clothes, and I hit the TV and I did my little step video. And 30 minutes, that's all it takes. 30 minutes of continuous activity every day. So there's no excuse. You can do it. And that right there took no equipment at all whatsoever. Pretty Black says some overweight people are very, very sensitive. They think you are talking about them when you're talking about weight. Yeah, because I have people in my family, like I said, it's uncomfortable. So, I don't really, like to talk, about weight around them, especially like even with me being overweight myself, I'm still perceived not to be fat to them. And that's the other thing. There was a study that came out back in 2016 where they were saying that black women are more often likely than any other person in this country to underestimate how big we are because we think that being big is healthy. So there's a lot of us running around here that are overweight. Like myself, I don't look overweight at this time, but I am overweight. And so those of us who don't really look into dieting and look into exercise, we don't even perceive ourselves as not being at a healthy weight. Now, right now, I went from 207 pounds, I'm down to 185, but my target weight is 155. That's like at the very border. That's just, me getting into being a healthy weight for my height. Let's see what else we're talking about here. All right. Good morning, Viper Sniper. Oh, Pretty Black says, yeah, I have home gym, treadmill, elliptical machine, weights, heavy duty jump ropes. Wow, heavy duty jump ropes. I haven't used that since I was in the gym. I just stopped working out and ate fast food. Yeah, but at least you're being honest about it, Pretty Black. Like I had to really be honest with myself when I started my weight loss journey. The first thing that made me start was me just being honest with myself that I wasn't healthy and that I wasn't looking healthy. I was, looking kind of skinny fat, because by me being tall, the weight gain didn't, make me look obese, but I was in the obese category where I looked skinny fat. My body type and my frame was not made to hold all these extra pounds. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Pretty Black says I'm 130, so I'm good, just thicker in the right places. I know that's right, but that's the thing. Like, and here's the thing: if you don't have a lot of belly fat, because belly fat is the biggest culprit for a lot of diseases that we suffer from as a group. If you can get that belly fat down, then you're basically at half the battle there. But unfortunately, when you start dieting and exercising, the belly is the last place that you lose weight. So, like me, I was 207. Like George Macon stated earlier on LAR's video, I lost a lot of water weight first. And then I started struggling with losing more weight because my weight was fluctuating back and forth and I wasn't really having a lot of success. So I was kind of stuck, around 190, and then I would go back to 203, 205. Then I'll go down to 190. That was that water weight fluctuating back and forth. And then once I finally broke the mold and I just kind of, dug my feet in and, stuck to a good diet routine, because diet is 80% of it. I had to really throw away the sugars. The sugars was the thing that was my Achilles heel and caused me to pack on the fat. So, I had to stop going to Dunkin' Donuts, going on those donut binges. I like the Bavarian cream donuts so much, but I had to really condition myself to eat something else, to snack healthier. Because all it was my body telling me that I wanted sugar. So I had to, implement certain fruit into my diet that would kind of take the place of that sugar craving. So like I said, I'm not just sitting here regurgitating any information that I've heard. I've actually had to sit down and with my nutritionist and talk to them about my struggles, my personal struggles on my weight loss journey, and things that will work for me. But at any rate, I do want to talk about the pushback more, because I don't know, and it's mostly with Black women. Like anything, like I said before in my earlier videos, Black women, we do not like to take criticism from anybody, and I do mean anybody, anybody, anybody. If somebody is criticizing us, we immediately jump on the defensive, and we want to go into attack mode, and we want to go into defense mode rather than sitting back and listening. And I'm guilty of it too. If I'm hearing something that I don't want to hear, it's defense attack. That's what we normally do. I had to train myself to be open to criticism. You're never ever going to grow in life. You're never going to make gains in life if you can't sit back and criticize yourself and be open to criticism, constructive criticism. Because like I said, if you go back and listen to the live stream, nobody was calling Bomb Cherry fat. But I do think that perhaps maybe she might have taken offense to it more than other people did. Let's see. Pretty Black says, I'm back to a 1 mile bike ride on the trail early in the morning. No sodas, no chips, back to healthy foods. That's good. Now that's what I'm talking about. Screen Learning says going on defensive is a part of lying to ourselves. Absolutely. We say things out loud in hopes that we're validated. And I can attest to that. I've lied to myself plenty of times because I didn't want to hear something. So I drown the other person out and make excuses. Like I said, Bum Cherry hurried up and got off the computer and pulled up an article that does not even speak to the general Black population. This is an article talking about underweight people that only speaks to 5% of the general population, and less than 5% of the Black female population will fall into the underweight category. So why would we sit up here and address less than 5% of the population as when it comes to heart disease, when we got 80% of our population contracting diabetes, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure. It doesn't make sense, but it was a defense mechanism because she perceives me as being somebody who might be skinny or skinny fat, or probably didn't even know what I looked like. But I'm not underweight at all. I don't even understand why she's bringing up underweight people when majority of black women are overweight. The things that affect us in our conditions in our communities when it comes to these diseases is directly coinciding with many of us being overweight, not underweight. Why are we talking about underweight people when 80% of us are overweight? Only 16% of us fall into the fit category, with less than 5% of us as black women falling into underweight. Make that make sense. And see, this is the portion of it that didn't get discussed yesterday because myself, I was not in the right frame of mind. I'm also going on a attack mode, and that was wrong. I was wrong for that. Pretty Black says faith is correct. Sharzad Ali said that back in the days, black women get mad at corrections from anyone. That's how you get better from good advice. And over time, I'm hoping that not only do we get better with our mind, our body, and our soul, but we do get better with being corrected because that's an issue in the black community. And that's probably also the issue as to why, we have a issue with authority, with male authority in our communities because we feel like we know it all. Nobody can tell us anything. And and it's taken a lot for me to admit that right now. So, um, yeah, I don't particularly like saying it, but it's true. And this ain't me, telling all our business or anything like that. It's me saying it because it needs to be said because nobody really says it. Now, like I said, if you're a black woman and you like to be more on the curvier side, there's a healthy way to do that. Because, like George Macon brought up yesterday in LAR's live stream, there are bodybuilders that are overweight. But he also brought up that, and I brought this up too in one of my live streams about the bodybuilders actually being overweight, even though they are mostly muscle. A lot of people are under the false conception or perception that just because you don't have a lot of body fat, that your body is consisting mostly of muscle, that you have more of an athletic frame, that your heart doesn't have to work just as hard to pump blood through your body. The bigger your body is, if your body is bigger than what your ideal weight should be, that heart is going to have to work harder to pump blood through that larger vessel. Whereas if you're at your ideal weight, you're at the healthy weight, your heart does not have to work as hard. So even if your body weight is your body fat composition isn't that high, you have more muscle than fat, just being that big puts strain on your heart. So like George Macon said, you have a lot of bodybuilders that have actually suffered from having heart attacks and high blood pressure and stroke and all that too, because they're just big. They're over their ideal weight, and their heart, really can't. Even though their body mass is more muscle, their heart still has to work harder to pump blood through that body. But like I said, some people just, like the look of, like a certain look. So some people like that bodybuilder frame. Some people, just want to be a little bit bigger, have a little bit more meat on their bones, especially with the women. We want to be more curvier. That's perfectly fine if you want to do so. But I would suggest that if you're going to pack on more weight, make sure that the weight is more lean, solid muscle than fat. Any form of fat on the body is not good. And you want to definitely make sure that you keep the fat from forming around the midsection, because that's the most dangerous place to have weight. So if you could, go by that rule of thumb, then yeah, you can have a curvier butt, curvier hips, shapely legs and thighs, and so on and so forth. If you just like that look, but make sure it's lean muscle, not fat. Make sure the weight is not going into the midsection. And for those of you that are already overweight and you're trying to get down to a healthy size and you want to, maintain a curvy figure, my doctor suggested to me that I shred first. And that's what I'm doing. I'm in a shredding process. And what that means is that I'm going to get all the way down to a small weight. And then I'm going to build back up in a healthy way. And utilizing mostly diet along with the exercise, because diet is 80% of it. So instead of me pumping food that isn't healthy back into my diet in order to gain the lean body mass, I'm going to instead rebuild my body the correct way using healthy proteins and healthy carbs. Let's see, Pretty Black says, we see it all the time. Many younger black women and girls be overweight and they think it's normal. Yeah. And that's the thing that I mentioned yesterday in LAR's live stream. The one thing that I wanted to get a chance to mention, but I didn't get a chance to speak on it there because, like I said, there was a lot of emotion, along with the conversation about weight. And I just felt like it was better for me to just be quiet at that time. But yeah, we normalize dysfunction, and being overweight in our community is part of the dysfunction. How we view our body image in this community is part of the dysfunction. When whenever you have girls who are not even past puberty and they're overweight, it's a problem. I remember my son, he was just a freshman in high school, and he said something to me and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Well, I don't know why it hurt my feelings, but I guess because I'm a black woman. But my son came to me and said, Mom, he said, why are all the black girls my age fat? And at that time, my son was like only 14 years old. And I got offended. And I really shouldn't have, and later on I did apologize to my son because I went off on him. I was like, no, they're not. They're not fat. That's baby fat. That, I'm just, I'm giving out all the excuses that we as black women give out for, why we're overweight. It's just a little baby fat. They're still holding on to their baby fat. But the truth is, we as black women, we don't teach our daughters proper diet, and we don't promote it in our households. So that's the reason why our daughters are a lot bigger, a lot curvier than they need to be at younger ages. We say, oh, it's got to be something in the food, it's the hormones. Yeah, that's part of it, but a even bigger part of it is how much of it that we're eating. We're eating a lot of them hormones. We're not looking at our portions. We're not eating clean, green diets, and we're not passing on healthy diet information to our children. As women, we are the industrial engineers of our kitchens. We're the ones that make sure that the family is healthy when we go into that kitchen, and we make decisions of what type of food we give to our family, to the men in our family and to the women in our family. We are the ones that usually do make these decisions. There's a lot of kids that grew up on oodles and noodles. Okay? Those are really, really bad carbs, because mama buys those oodles and noodles. And so this is what we're teaching our children. Good morning, Gia girl. We're not teaching our children how to eat healthy. And so they learn a bad lifestyle early on, and it becomes part of the dysfunction in the community that I'm talking about. We have obese children, and we give them cute nicknames like Juicy. We give them cute nicknames like Juicy. We feed our children table food a little bit too early, and our children are obese. And ironically, as far as the obesity level, little black boys are more obese than little black girls. I was, like I said, I was up last night reading all these different studies. And I'm reading how it affects us overall, holistically, all the way down to our toddlers, all the way down to our children. So this is how serious I am about this. I don't play with our health. Gia Girl says we are taught to clean the plate and make room for the dessert. Exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, like there have been family functions that I went to, like recently. This wasn't recently. This was maybe about 6 years ago. I traveled back home to Chicago to a funeral. My cousin had passed away, and I was at my family's house, and they were having the repast, and there was so much unhealthy food there. And at that time, I was experimenting with the vegan diet. So I had sworn off any kind of meat. Now, it's really, really, really hard to try to live a healthy lifestyle when you live in a community where people are used to dysfunctional and unhealthy eating habits. So, my aunt, she had made this ham, honey glazed ham with the little pineapples on top of it. And, I was licking my chops. I really, really, really wanted to eat that ham. Okay. Then they had the greens with the smoked meat in there. The smoked ham hocks. Oh my God. Mm, mm, mm. The cornbread, the macaroni and cheese, that baked macaroni and cheese. I'm talking about with the triple layer of cheese. I'm talking about they had it all. They pulled out all the big guns. And the banana pudding. Okay. Banana pudding, anybody? You know black people and our banana pudding. That shit is delicious. Can we say scrumdiddlyumptious? So I'm sitting there at the repast and I'm on a vegan diet and they got all this soul food sitting around. Pretty Black said, yeah, Faith, now you heard me. Oh man, banana pudding is good. I'm just saying, you know how we do. And they had way more food than that, but you know, those were my favorite items, okay? And my aunts, they had worked hard on that food. So you know how your elderly aunts in the family, if they done slaved hard, oh yeah, sweet potato pie, yeah, girl, yes, girl, mm. Candy yams, stuffing. I love stuffing. But anyway, let me stop talking about all the food that I love because I'll relapse. But what I'm saying is, when your elder aunts in your family work that hard on the food, they want to see everybody eating, especially if they kind of in competition with each other. One make a certain dish better than the other, like that sweet potato salad. Oh my God, that sweet potato salad. Whoo wee. Lord have mercy. Sweet potato. But anyway, so I was sitting there and I was not, I wasn't eating all the food. I got the greens, but I didn't get none of the meat that they had cooked in the greens. I was trying to, semi do something right. And my aunt noticed what I was doing. She noticed that my portions on my plate wasn't as big as it normally be. And she came over and said, girl, what's wrong? You not eating. Well, mind you, I was eating, but I wasn't eating, like everybody else was eating. I had learned to portion out, my food. So I said, oh, auntie, I'm eating. She's like, girl, what you trying to do? You sick? Then here come the questions. Then I got all my aunties hovering around me, wanting to know if I'm sick, if I'm pregnant. I think she pregnant, girl. You know how they get when they first get pregnant and they start eating funny. I think she pregnant. Then they had the thing going around the family that I was pregnant because I was not eating like they're used to, like they're used to seeing me eat. Like I'm gonna be honest, I can tear some shit up. I can tear some shit up. I have gone to buffets and I have laid it out 3, 4 plates and stuffing muffins in my purse. That used to be me. That used to be me. Me and my cousins, we would go. Hey, it was nothing. I'd be at that buffet or I'd be at the family gathering where they have all that food. I have 2 plates stacked on top of each other. One with the main dish and the other with all my desserts. And I would sit there and eat it all. Then I would go back because it was something else that I saw. Greedy as hell. Hell yeah. Yeah, that used to be me. And then I still wanted to eat later on. So I would take and make 2 or 3 more plates. You know, come on now. You know, y'all need to tell the truth and shame the devil. You know how greedy we are as black people. Because we can't see ourselves leaving all that good food. We gonna make 3, 4, 5, 6 plates. I ain't gonna lie, I have 6 plates. And we might even beg for the whole casserole pan and take it home. And then in the middle of the night, be getting up, going back and forth to the refrigerator. Come on. Y'all know y'all did it. I'm not the only one here that did it. I would be back and forth to the refrigerator all night long because my man would not let me forget that sweet potato pie in that refrigerator. And also in the back of my mind, I did not want my brother to eat it all. So I had to go and eat it. I'm just going to let you know how we think. I'm telling all our secrets today. Pretty Black Male just said, I plead the fifth. You know how we do. In the back of my mind, I said, Bobby is going to get up at 3 o'clock and try to eat all of the potato pie. So I'm going to beat him to it at 2 o'clock. So when he gets up at 3 o'clock, he going to be mad. Oh, yeah, that's how my man used to work. Eating all day and all night. And it was normal. I grew up in a family where this was normal. So, in my family, there's a high prevalence in later age of diabetes. My sister has diabetes. My mother has had 2 different strokes. My grandmother suffered from heart disease. All of these illnesses run rampant through my family, and I am suffering with the high blood pressure. I'm honest about mine. I'm not one of those overweight women that's going to stand up and lie and say, oh, I'm not sick. Nothing wrong with me. I don't have any of those things. I would be a damn lie. I'm not one of the overweight women that's going to sit up there and lie to you. And that's the other thing. Whenever we start talking about proper diet and exercise in the black community, there's always the fat auntie that stands up and says, nothing wrong with me. I don't have heart disease. Not me. I don't have high blood pressure. Mm-mm. I weigh 300 pounds. I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just fine and healthy. And I just got the big old fat booty in this wop. You just mad because you ain't got this booty in this wop. I got all the booty in the wop. All the menses want to have sex with me. Because they like this fat booty. Booty, 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 booty rocking everywhere. I don't have no problem getting a man. So now we go from discussing health to straight down into the gutter of sexuality. Because of course with the black community, it all boils down to our genitals at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is what it boils down to: who I can sexually attract. And nobody said that BBWs are not getting married. Nobody said that BBWs don't have boyfriends. Nobody said that men don't desire BBWs. Nobody says this. Okay? We're talking strictly about the health of our community and particularly our black women. But when you get to talking about health, we want to start talking about booty, 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 rocking everywhere, rocking everywhere, rocking everywhere. That's what we want to. We want to change the subject to sexual attraction. So now here you are, black woman. You're coming up with the excuse number 4. Okay. Now this is the 4th excuse that we like to give for being overweight as black women. My man likes it, but my man likes it. And here's the thing about that, because like I said, when I had the fatty too, I still got the fatty. Little booty, booty, booty back there. Men love that. Yeah, they like to see that jigglage. But do you think while they're hitting it from the back, do you think while their penis is hard, they're going to take the time to have a PSA with you about your health? Think about that for a second. Especially if you're just a booty call to them anyway. Do you think they're going to take the time to say, well, my penis gets hard for this, but this is not something that I really, want to deal with for the rest of my life? Or even if there's something that they like, if they like it, they really not going to give you a PSA about your health because their penis is getting hard. And I'm telling you, these men will screw you right into the grave and never tell you you're killing yourself. Matter of fact, my last ex, I stated on my video yesterday, my last ex used to cook all the time. Pork ribs was his specialty. Barbecue pork ribs, barbecue sausages. And he was damn good on that grill. The meat would melt off the bone, I promise you. Every day I come home from work, he cooking more pork ribs with his special barbecue sauce. It was good. And he helped me get fat. Stuffed bell peppers. That nigga was trying to kill me. Every day I got off work, I was eating good. Screen Learning says ribs, fried food, sugar, and saturated takes us all out. Oh yeah. Pretty black. Yeah, that nigga was trying to kill me. Majority of the weight that I gained because of him. And then on top of that, I had a sweet tooth, so I bake. I'm a baker. I can make any cake just as fast as I can. Patty cake. And boy, was my patty cakes getting big. My childhood favorite was the jelly cake. And so I would always make sure that I had the jelly cake and the German chocolate. Those are my two favorite. Now, my guy at the time, he liked that red velvet cake, so I would make red velvet cake for him and carrot cake. He liked red velvet and carrot cakes, and so those were his favorites. Now, he would be the example of somebody who fell into the underweight category, but he pissed me off because he would eat just as much as me and never get fat. Oh yeah, pretty black. Oh yeah, the sugar and the Kool-Aid. I had to give up Kool-Aid. I love that grape Kool-Aid. Grape Kool-Aid and cherry Kool-Aid, my favorite. So between my significant other barbecuing every day and me baking them patty cakes, I was getting fat and he wasn't getting fat, but he was suffering on the inside, I'm sure. I'm sure he was suffering on the inside. So one day, this nigga had the nerves and audacity to tell me the truth. And I got mad. Oh, I cussed him out that day. He had the nerve and audacity. I was coming in from work one day and I was in the refrigerator, had my back to him, and he was looking at it and he said, "Baby, you getting kind of fat." Them's fighting words, y'all. Them is fighting words. For a man to sit up there and look at you, because he was looking at me for a long time. He had that look in his eye like he was really scrutinizing. So evidently I had gone from being the size of my booty was big, okay, but my waistline was starting to disappear. That's what he was looking at. And see, y'all, when your waistline starts to disappear, it ain't cute no more. So I was bent over that refrigerator with my fat ass, and he didn't see anything sexy anymore. And so he thought to tell me, "Baby, you getting a little fat." World War III broke out. The hell you mean I'm getting fat? Nigga, you've been sitting up here every day feeding me pork ribs. And you got a nerve to tell me I'm getting fat? So yeah, I got upset. And I'm gonna be honest, that the weight gain was another one of the reasons why he and I ultimately ended up breaking up, because he started making a lot of comments about my weight. I can talk about it now because I've healed from it. But yeah, that was part of it. Even though he had a big hand in me getting fat, but nobody was forcing me to eat all those pork ribs. Yeah, Viper Sniper, he didn't put a gun to my head. That was all me. As soon as I get in the house, I'm grabbing a big ass plate of pork ribs, corn on the cob, that barbecue corn on the cob, and yeah, yeah, I was eating my ass off. Those pork and beans, them biscuits. But like I said, this is normalized dysfunction in our community. We have learned to eat like this. There's no way he or I should have been cooking the way that we was cooking every day. The foods that we were choosing to cook was not healthy. We could have made much better choices as a couple. And Viper Sniper, I do assign him some of the blame, even though he didn't hold a gun to my head. But he takes a L too, because he was in that kitchen just as well as I was, contributing to the fuckery. And the only difference is his ass just didn't gain weight, but he internalized his fat. He had health issues too. It's just that his didn't show up on the inside. He's in that 5% that just didn't get fat. The man showed up on the outside. His didn't. Gia Girl says, when I was hungry trying to grab fruit or water now instead of cheesesteak sub or leftover cold pizza or leftover cold fried chicken. Yeah. And LAR is right. The fried chicken, French fries, hamburger, that's what's really doing us in. Miss J says, eating surgeries I stopped eating surgery sodas years ago. Stopped eating out for the most part. I started a lower sodium diet a few weeks ago. I'm trying to do better, and that's the name of the game. As long as you put an effort into it, and then you get a diet plan and stick to it. And see, that was my downfall. Well, that's the reason why my weight kept fluctuating up and down, because I kept breaking my diet. And don't be hard on yourself, because it's hard to change a lifestyle. We have been used to eating like this for years. This is something that has been passed down to us from the time we were children. And so it's yet another generational curse that we have to break. And yes, I'm trying to break the generational curse, and I'm trying to pass down better eating habits to my children and grandchildren. I'm not going to be the big mama that cooks all this fattening food for her family, poisoning the family. Now, mind you, there's nothing wrong with occasionally eating this stuff, but I'm not going to be doing this on a regular basis, poisoning my body on a regular basis. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I've made that up in my mind. Oh, Miss J, you were the one that brought up the air fryer. Oh, sugary sodas. I knew she said surgery. No, I haven't tried the air fryer. I heard that it's supposed to be healthier than frying your food, but I'm definitely going to look into it. Gia Girl says, I've cut breads out, butter. The problem is when you do it once in a while, that once in a while can hurt your diet. True. If you feel like you don't have the willpower to cut it off, then don't do it at all. Not until you get strong enough, to, pace yourself. I think I'm finally getting to the pace where I'm strong enough to pace myself. I'm not sure. I haven't reverted back to eating um, those soul foods like I had before. I don't. At this point in time, I don't feel strong enough to test the theory, but I think I am. But I'm not going to test the theory just yet. I want to be for sure. Screen Learning says everyone in Black YouTube should adopt a fit lifestyle, especially content creators. People are over consuming cigars and alcohol on live streams and setting the wrong example. Exactly. Exactly. And we stay self medicating. These are things that just makes us feel good about ourselves. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that food, whoo, is a comfort to me. When I used to get home and I would go in that refrigerator, but the favorite part of winding down my day was going in that refrigerator. And I had to realize that I was comforting myself with food. After my engagement, after my breakup, after my engagement ended, the highlight of my day was the refrigerator. And I'm going to be honest about that. That's how I was making myself happy. In that kitchen, cooking the wrong food. And because a few black men or, a couple of Hispanic men found me attractive, it gave me a false sense of I'm not doing anything wrong. Because of the argument that me and my guy had about my weight, it made me feel like, okay, well, he was wrong, about telling me that I was getting fat. I'm still attracting men, that's what I would tell myself. I'm just going to be honest. That's the mindset of a lot of black women. As long as we still attracting men, we got booty, 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 booty rocking everywhere. We still think that we're doing good. But my wake up call came when my doctor told me that I was in the high risk category for stroke. My doctor came to me and told me I was in the high risk category. I hadn't had a stroke, mind you. I haven't had a heart attack, mind you. Once again, I could be one of those hypocritical big fat women that stand on my square and say because I didn't have a stroke and because I didn't have a heart attack, I'm healthy. A lot of these women ain't talked to their doctors at all. But when my doctor examined me and told me where I was at and what would happen to me if I kept on, I'm one of those people that don't want to see what's going to happen if I keep doing the wrong thing. I don't want to see what's going to happen if I keep doing the wrong thing because I got plenty of examples in my family of what will happen if I keep doing the wrong thing. So just because I'm healthy now, don't mean I can't be like the rest of the women in my family. Like George Bacon 2 says, this stuff don't happen overnight. It happens over time. And I don't want to age like Big Mama. That's not something I'm aspiring to do. Thank you, Joshua Woods, for the $5 super chat. He says, great topic. So I'm going to go ahead and start recapping because I talked about the sisterhood and how Black women, we have a lot of pushback when it comes down to the subject of obesity, being overweight, and our health. We like to make a lot of excuses as to why we are in the state that we're in. Utilizing the fact that skinny people are unhealthy too is no excuse for the fact that 80% of our women are not healthy. We're not at a healthy weight. So the little 4% of our women that are skinny and unhealthy, that's not the larger representation of the 80% of us who are overweight and unhealthy. That's excuse number one that needs to be laid to rest. Oh, hold on a second. Miss J says that Faith, I recently read an article saying Black women starting at age 24, half of us have heart disease already. I can believe it. I can believe it, Miss J. So, I'm not speaking in terms of aesthetics because we all know that our men like the fatty fat. They like a little baby fat. But as I illustrated with what went down with me and my ex, sometimes that little baby fat, when you start losing that waistline, that it's not attractive anymore to them. I'm just going to be honest. And they will tell you that you're getting fat. Gia Girl says a detox at this time is a great idea because many of us are teleworking and can use our own bathroom. Exactly. Good advice, Gia Girl. Great advice. Pretty Black says also diabetes is bad on the heart too. Absolutely. Screen Learning says next live stream topic should be how do you tell your mate, family, and friends they look like they are picking up weight in a tactful way without starting World War III. Yeah, Yeah, that would be a great topic. I don't know how he could have gone about telling me. I think that I was overly sensitive about it. I think screen learning in the back of my mind, I already knew that I was hidden around that corner to being completely obese and looking like I was completely obese. In the back of my mind, I knew. I just didn't like the fact that he had noticed it and he had the presence of mind to speak on it. He really wasn't nasty to me when he said it. It's just that I was just extremely sensitive and I wasn't ready to hear it at all. I didn't want to hear it. That it was all me. So, I have to take accountability. Gia Girl says, to be honest, I don't care what men like. I would like to be healthy. Exactly. That's the number one thing, health and longevity, because this is taking us out. Other groups of women are outliving us. Miss J said, yeah, that argument yesterday was embarrassing and wrong on so many levels. What you were saying was correct in every way. Yeah, but I have to take responsibility for how I came off at her. And I was highly emotional, and I do get highly emotional all the time. That's something that I have to work on. I have to work on my temper, and I have to work on how I speak to people and how I come across. Because if I want to influence people, I got to do better. I don't. I'm not proud of how I spoke with her yesterday. I just want to put that out there, and I did apologize to LAR for my outburst. But like I said, the number one thing that we do, the first excuse is to try to bring up that skinny people also are, unhealthy. Uh, this is no excuse for us as Black women because this does not affect the large segment of our group. And then the other excuse that medications make us fat, while this is a valid point, while this is a valid, excuse, like I said, my sister, suffers from bipolar complex, and she has to take medication that causes her to gain weight. And her doctor works with her, with a nutritionist, to combat it with just basically having a healthy diet to combat it. So even if she can't work out as much as she wants, just having a healthy diet is 80% of what helps when dealing with these medications. Because once again, these medications are also operating off of the food that you're putting into your body as well. So if the medication is giving you a chemical imbalance and you're also eating unhealthy food, then that is going to really, really make your weight balloon up. She's able to keep her weight at a healthy level by controlling her diet with the medication. So these medications making me fat excuse, we it's not the best excuse. It's not the best excuse because the medication also works with your diet. And the my man likes it excuse is not a good excuse either. The excuse that I'm a big girl and I'm not unhealthy excuse is not a good excuse because once again, as George Macon pointed out yesterday, these health risks, these illnesses happen over time. So you might be healthy now, but you may end up going out like Big Mama on Soul Food. So those of you who want to go out like Big Mama on Soul Food, raise your hand. Miss J said at Faith, I left the stream because I couldn't take the denial. Yeah, she was in straight denial. And like I told her, I meant what I said when I told her she's delusional. Now that I did mean. She's very delusional. But I shouldn't have been screaming it at her. Miss J says, at Faith, my bugaboo is carbs and I love sweets, but I have been able to cut back, but the lifestyle changes can be unbelievably difficult. Yes, because your body, I'm going to tell you, if you've been used to giving your body sweets for a long period of time, that's how you soothe that craving. Your body will begin to fight against you in the worst way. I'm talking about I would have sugar withdrawals. So it took me a long time, and I'm still, dealing with the sugar withdrawals because it wasn't too long ago that I had binged off about 6 donuts at Dunkin' Donuts about maybe a couple of months ago. Yeah, that sugar withdrawal is something else. Pretty Black Magic says, Dr. Tobias Candida cleanse. Miss J, I'm doing the Canada cleanse and I feel great. Lots of energy. I can sleep good and less hungry. I might look into that too. Pretty Black Dr. Tobias Candida cleanse. Okay, I'll look at that. Screen Learning says, second, the big boned excuse is no longer acceptable either. No more big mamas. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you watching LER's video after this? Yeah, like I said, towards the end, a lot of valuable information. Definitely want to tune in for it. And like I said, it came from LAR and George Macon. And here's the thing: what was so interesting about the end of that video? When I attempted to talk about diet and exercise, I was abruptly cut off and made to look like I was uninformed. But for some reason, when the men started talking about, having proper diet and exercise, notice that her demeanor was different towards the men. And that's the other thing. Black women do not want to take this information from certain black women. And that's the issue. That's something that we need to kind of work out within ourselves. Let's see here. Miss J said, hell, nowadays it ain't big mama that big. We start getting big in preteens now, sad to say. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Miss J. A lot of our 14-year-old girls are already, in the BBW category. Because like I said, my son, when he was 14, he kind of hurt my feelings, and I don't know even know why. I couldn't really explain why I took offense to it so bad, but he came to me and he said, Mama, he said, why is all the girls my age fat? And like I said, he was a freshman in high school when he came and asked me that. And I got offended. Like, no, this is baby fat. I'm making all these excuses. And I need to apologize to my son because I kind of went off on him a little bit. Good morning, Reigning Room Man. Moon Man. I can't say that the name saved my life. But yeah, these are all the excuses. These are the main excuses that we as black women love to give for not self-correcting, for not course correcting our health. And this is the reason why we lead everybody in this country. And before I leave, another little anecdote that I would like to put out there, because this goes into the whole thing that I was talking about as far as black women not being the friend of other black women. Yeah, Miss Jade, you just helped me segue right into my next topic because I'm just going to get on that. Miss J says, I leave those types of women alone. We can't help those you don't want to help. But yeah, a lot of black women are not the friend of other black women because we as black women have this misery loves company mindset when dealing with our friendships. And I kind of touched on this yesterday, I believe, when I was telling the story about when I was talking to was it Rude or yeah, I think it was the other day I was on the live stream with Rude, and I used the example of the woman that's with her friends and she gets a boyfriend, and the other friends they don't have a man, and so all of a sudden they want to start hating on that girl and her relationship. Black women, we got to start getting out of the whole misery loves company mindset, because when you start seeing your sister move up and she's like doing better than you, don't try to drag her back down. If that sister has a man, don't try to sleep with her man and sabotage her relationship because you don't have a man. If that sister desires to lose weight, don't sit up there and try to give her pound cakes and, hey girl, let's go to the buffet. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm not talking about anything that I heard. All of the things that I talk about are things that I've experienced. And even now in my current weight loss journey, I had to snap on one of my friends because she's currently still in the 200 over 200-pound BBW category, but she's not trying to come out of it. And she's seeing me losing weight the other day, tried to get me to break, a lot of my rules that I set for myself. And sure enough, she was at my house, with food, trying to get me to eat this stuff. And I saw it for what it was, and I went off on her. And right now, she barely speaks to me because when I go off on a person, I do go off, and that's something that I have to change about myself because I got to learn how to talk to people. But yeah, I got angry at her because I felt she was trying to sabotage me. Because I'm sitting up here trying to encourage her to change her lifestyle, and I'm like, hey girl, let's go to the gym. Hey girl, let's go on this 30-minute walk with me. Let's go and get this salad. That's what I'm on. And she comes, hey girl, let's go to the buffet. It's never, hey girl, let's go to the gym. Hey girl, let's work out. And I told her so. I told her so. And so we had a falling out over it. But that just goes to show how serious I am about my health. Screen learning. No, no more chokeholds. I'm not doing any more chokeholds. Gia Girl says other women are jealous and threatened if you lose weight and will sabotage your weight loss. It has happened to me too many times, and that's what I'm trying to shed light on, because I know I'm not the only black woman that has experienced this within their friendships. Beware of your friends, ladies. And I'm not saying don't be friends with them. My friend, when we do eventually start talking again, and I will apologize to her for my outbursts. I have a real problem with that. That's something I got to work on. But she really made me angry because I was able to identify what she was doing, because it was something that I saw happening to me over and over again with my family, in my relationship with my man. These people would come and they would, butter me up with this food because they know I like to eat. And I'm trying to do something different. And I felt like she was totally trying to sabotage me. So yeah, beware of that. because you're going to get a lot of that happening to you. And I'm not saying that, you do like I did and go completely off, but you got to let everybody know that you're serious and you're not going to let anybody infiltrate and sabotage, because that's what they'll try to do. Sometimes your man don't want to see you losing weight because he thinks that you're going to start looking attractive to other men, and he'll try to sabotage you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and go down and do my roll call. I hope that this video was informative and, pretty much shed a little bit of light on some things. Like I said, shout out to LAR and his live stream. If you guys missed it, do go over and watch it. It's really interesting. Like I said, towards the end, it got pretty interesting. But I want to shout out all the people that woke up this morning and came with me on my early morning ride. Miss Pretty Black Magic, Era Black TV, Viper Sniper, Gia Girl, Screen Learning, Raining Woman, all the people that came in today. Miss J, definitely Miss J. And I like doing streams with Miss J, by the way. Miss J is a really intelligent lady. I always enjoy uh, speaking with her. And she always has a lot of factual information to add to the conversation. But everybody that came in, I do want to say thank you so much. You are the real MVPs. Anybody coming into the stream, or if you haven't already, please remember to hit the like button, because that does keep me on top. If you're listening to the replay, please hit the like button. And I am out. Thank you, everybody. Have a good morning.